Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you want to make such an beautiful, amazing and stylish design buttons for your own websites or give any like that CSS, HTML and JavaScript, then you can watch out this for the tutorial on how to use it in the your websites in the future ways or and it is in a beginner friendly. So let's go to it. Okay guys, we have came to our main tutorial of how it has been made. So for that we have included the files as index.html, style.css and then for JavaScript script.js. For before we continue to our tutorial, you can see I have made lots of buttons that I have included on my GitHub repo that you can see on my description of this video at the end or by checking out directly the description. So let's go to our main part, which is the HTML part. Okay, so for that we have taken the title as the in the boilerplate as colorful button with eye-catching sparking animation that you have seen before. And for in the body part I have included the button with the class as spark button, then its span as class with the class as button text. Inside it we have defined the text we have selected as you can see right here, spark me with the lightning emojis, and then we have another added and a div class as sparks for the sparking particles. Okay, then we have addressed the JavaScript. Then we go to our main part, second part, which is how we have designed its background and how we have created button CSS. Okay, so for the basically we have defined the body as and main background of it as in the display in the flex format, then align its items and content at the center and then give it a height as 100 vh and then background as black. Then for the button I have given them that a position of relative, then padding as 15 pixel and 40 pixel and then font size as 24 pixel. Okay, then I have defined it with the font weight as bold, then color as white, background as linear grid with 45-degree angle, and I had defined the colors as the pink, what color it was, shiny blue or green, I doesn't remember, green color. Then border none, then border radius as 12 pixel, and then we have defined the cursor as pointer, then overflow as hidden, and then box shadow as 15 pixel, and then it the dark cyanic and green between format of it that you can see I have defined it like that, its color. Okay, and then the its transition with the transform animation as 0.5 seconds, and then as we have defined the box shadow it has been 0.2.5 seconds on the time frames. And for the hover effect I have defined its scaling increase by 0.1 times, like you can see I have written the transform scale as 1.1 and then give its a box shadow as 0.035 pixel and dark pink, then 0.045 pixel, then cyanic color, and then I have defined it in a pulsing ripple effects on it that you have seen in the demo of in the intro, like how it was pulsing out and giving it a color like glow for your own visuals. And I'm saying it, so I have defined it like we have defined the after the after function to the spark button we have defined its content as empty, and then position as absolute, and for centering them out at the by using the top as 50% and left as 50%, and then width and height at the 200%. Okay, and background will be given as radiant. In the circular format it will going to come out, so it will be the little purplish color, as it will going to catch attention of the particular user that will going to come to your own website while viewing that particular like stuff that you will going to add to the particular like nav bar or something, any part that you will going to create in the future. And then the transparent as 70% and transform as translate minus 50% minus 50%, then scale as 0, and then border radius as 50%, and animation as we have defined the ripple 2 seconds in the infinite format, and then the pointer event of that as none. Okay, then you can see right here I have how I have defined its animation. For the starting part I have defined its transform translates part as minus 50% comma minus 50%, and then its scale will be as 0.4 and opacity as 0.7. Okay, at the 70% it will going to swing it back and increase its size while it, and then it opacity go to 0, and then at the 100 it will going to 0 again. Okay, and for the sparkles container which we have, we're going to define it in the on the JavaScript on its numbers, how it will going to and how differently it will going to appear. Okay, for that styling I have defined its main position as absolute, top at 0, left at 0, width as 100%, height as 100%, overflow visible, then pointer event as none, and then I have again give it and accidentally position as absolute, then width as 5 pixel, and then height as 5 pixel, and then border radius as 50%, as it will going to appear in the circular formats. Then opacity will be of them as the 0.9, and its animation will come in the fly. I have given the name fly, and 2 sec by each 2 they will going to came, and then linear in the forward directions. And for the box shadow I have defined the 008 pixel by their current color. Box shadow of them will be coming out, that I have will going to see how we have done it with the JavaScript. We have defined it, and we have defined its colors. Okay, then you can see out animation how I have given it like this. As transform we have defined the translate as 0,0 and the scale as 1, original size, and then opacity as 1. To the ending it will go so as translate variable as x and variable as y, and scale as 0.3, and opacity will go to 0. Okay, as these sparkle effects will be done by the JavaScript, so wait till that part. Okay, for your answer. For the animated neon grid text, we have defined their colors as this, that you can see right now, as a pink, cyan, yellow, red, and green, and then their background size is 60 600% and given it in a background clip and this according to the browsers. And then we have defined its animation as neon text 6 seconds is in the infinite formats, timings, repetition, and then we have defined its text shadow as 10 pixel by pink sorry, dark pink, and then 0020 pixel by and a side color, and then we have defined its animation as this. We have defined the and the zero background position as 0% and 50%. Then at the 50% it will be as the background position as 100, 500, and then at last 100 it will going to go back to 0. Okay, so let's go to our next part, which is the JavaScript of it, how its own sparkles effect is actually created and working. Okay, so we have first of all create gets the document query selectors of the main parts of the sparkle as the sparkle class, collecting as sparkle and sparkle buttons that you can see right here, the constant as spark container and buttons. And then we had defined the same color that we had defined before, as I have doesn't know right here but they were actually in the next code. Okay, then we had defined the function as create spark. Then we had defined the const inside it as spark is equal to document create element as div. And then we have defined add in another class as spark, and it will going to pick a random neon color that we have defined above. From that part, as it will going to take the spark dot style color is equal to math floor math random into color length going to, and then it will going to give it a style background as spark style color similar way. And then for the random directions and its distance, I have defined their color dis distance angle and xy coordinates as this. For the angle I have used the const angle as equal to math dot random into math pi into 2. And then for the distance I have defined it as const distance equal to math dot random into 90 plus 30. Then for the x coordinate I have used the cosine angle with the angle side, and for the y axis I have used the sine, and then multiply it by the distance of the particular of them, and then plus it by the pixels, which will going to create an xyz coordinates of like 10 pixel in the x and then y in the 20, like that. And then we have will going to set its property in the style CSS that we have defined, that you have seen in the variables that I have defined in there. And then we will going to append that child particular container, and then we had defined in a 2-second timeout from for each of the spark animation that dot will be created by the 2 seconds, and each interval it will go in 0.3 seconds time frame, it will going to create new and new sparkle effects. And for the extra sparks on hover, we have defined the button event listener function by the mouse entering event. Then we have defined inside an arrow function. Then we have given it an for let I is equal to 0 for loop, and then less than we have defined it as an 18, a total number of 18 part particles that will be coming as I less than 18, and then each time it will going to increase it out, and then it will going to create spark, and it's I into 40 as it will going to bust that. Okay, so that's it for today guys. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoy it, then you can like to my channel or share it to your friends for the future helping of them. So bye bye.